People who find your brand using AI are 4 times more likely to buy your product right now than a traditional Google search. I want to break down today everything I've been doing for the last year to position our brand as we acquire several customers per month, having AI recommend our brand to individuals. These are customers that are paying thousands to tens of thousands of dollars, by the way. And I see so many people right now that are sleeping on what an advantage this is. And 5 to 10 years from now, everyone is going to be using AI to find what they should purchase, to see what the internet would recommend, you name it. And so today, this is going to be a deep dive, no holding back. I'm going to give everything that I've been doing to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars this year alone that has helped us. Only setting the stage here for reference, my brand is higherlevels.com. We do tech sales training. We help individual reps, and we also help technical founders build out their go-to-market motion. That could be sales, that could be marketing, you name it. And we are having founders, I literally spoke with one 3 days ago, that found us on Claude, come in and ultimately agree and pay us tens of thousands of dollars. It'd be really easy for me to come in and say, hey, here's the solution. Here's what you should do. But I think if you can bear with me for a couple of minutes, it's very important to understand the differences between traditional SEO and how you now show up for AI, commonly referred to as GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. Fancy, but really it just means how do I show up in ChatGPT and Claude for a search result, right? One of the biggest challenges when we look at traditional SEO, even 5 years ago, take it back to 2020, right? You're trying to find a new mattress. You should say best queen mattress for 25-year-old on budget, okay? That's an example of a very extensive search. So you can see here, there's tons of different results. There's tons of different blog posts. There's, hey, the best cheap mattress. We tried, 52 plus mattresses. These are standard blogs that tend to perform well because they're credible, they have an original take, and this is still a core pillar of trying to rank for AI. But one of the biggest challenges, and I just want to illustrate this by using Google Keyword Planner. When I first started, I was trying to optimize for a few specific keywords. One you can see here is tech sales. Another common one is account executive or SDR jobs, or break into tech sales. When you are using these for traditional SEO, not GEO, and showing up in AI, Google actually is able to track how many times a month these different words are searched, and you can plan your strategy around that. The challenge now is with tools like Claude, with tools like ChatGPT, there's no capturing what people are actually searching for, and it's getting much more complex. So instead of saying best tech sales training programs, I could throw that into Google, and that's a pretty standard search that you're trying to win for when you're planning blogs, when you're building your website. The challenge is now, when I come into Claude, instead of saying best tech sales training programs, I might say for a mid-30s engineer that is changing careers and wants more financial upside. I live in Austin, Texas, and I want to work remote. How do you build a blog, or how do you even get recommended in this scenario? And we can see what it comes up with. This is the real challenge now, is we have no insight into what people are actually searching at a detailed level. And we have no idea of how to predictably show up. Now, granted, my Claude account knows a lot about me, so of course it's going to recommend higher levels. But how do you ensure that you're in a position here to where when a random stranger ultimately searches something like this in Claude or ChatGPT, that you show up? And that's what I want to break down, because I've been spending over a year on this. We have not only doubled our organic clicks and impressions, but we have also now acquired several different customers paying us tens of thousands of dollars through ChatGPT. They ultimately find ChatGPT, then they come to our website and they go and fill out this form right here. They set up a talk to sales demo. And I imagine if you've made it this far in the video, you are trying to recreate some of this magic. So hopefully I've done a decent job laying out some of the major differences and challenges you now have to account for as a business owner. And I want to take an attempt at, again, towards the end of 2026, going into 2027 here, this is what we are seeing consistently work across our brand to then get noticed. First and foremost, traditional SEO is the foundation. That is still a requirement. I hope if you're watching this, you have some baseline foundation, but very simple. If you're looking for keywords, you find those keywords, you build a lot of different articles around those. So you'll notice we have, articles about breaking into tech sales. That's a very common search term. Tech sales in general, by putting tech sales in the title, that really helps these rank. We have ones about account executive. This is something that gets searched 10 to 100,000 times a month. And by making articles about account executive, that is a great starting point and foundation. But the challenge is, and everyone knows this, and the algorithms are getting smarter, is now writing these blogs that used to take a dedicated team or contractor or your own time. This is table stakes. This is a commodity. Purely text-based blog articles are losing their differentiation because anyone can do this now and anyone can access this no problem. So not only are we making blogs, but we have a YouTube channel, and don't look at this and say, oh, he's got a YouTube channel, that's it. No, you can have a YouTube channel with 300 followers, if that. And we are taking these videos and embedding them in every single blog post that we have. So now a key pillar of just writing blogs is going back to this slide is it's the foundation. You're putting clusters of content around topics. So if account executive is a word I want to target, I'm going to talk about the account executive role in 5 different blog posts where I have a different angle, where maybe it's one is getting your first account executive job. The next one is how to promote to your next account executive job. The third one is the ultimate strategy guide for account executives in tech sales or something like that, right? We're going to make clusters of content. But in my opinion, if you can embed a video, and there's data backing this, now the AI and LLMs can actually pull the transcripts of these videos and recognize this as original and authentic content. So tying a knot on this first point, if you are just using AI to create blog articles, sure, by making a cluster, maybe it helps, right? But if you have an embedded video with your voice, with even a conversation here, this is a 2-person conversation, but this transcript is now able to be queried in search results when ChatGPT is scanning the web. And this is going to give you defensibility and credibility that the average blog post does not. And so I'm going to open this video to show you one cool thing on this note, which is when I go in and I actually edit this video, I've now got automatic jobs in Claude that are creating blogs for me based on the transcript. So I can actually go in here and download this transcript, which you'll see populate here in just a second. I'm going to go download this and pop over into Claude and say, hey, generate me a blog based on this transcript. And without getting too deep into Claude, I talk a lot about this in my newsletter, by the way, and on other videos in this channel. I have a dedicated skill in Claude Cowork that knows how to write blogs. So I'll say, take this transcript and make it a blog post. The title of the video is the 300K tech sales roadmap and skills required to be a top account executive. So now I'll let it run, and you'll see this running over here on the right side. It's going to actually call my transcript to blog post skill, and this is hard coded to have a detailed structure of what an SEO and GEO optimized blog looks like. So it's going to take 22 minutes here of raw thoughts and a full-on original authentic transcript, and it's going to keep that voice, keep that nuance, keep that authority, and format it now in a blog that answers a very specific question. So that is layer 1, in my opinion. You have to have a very strong SEO foundation. And if you're in a position where even if it's a lower production quality video like this, where you make a detailed video and you use that as the basis for a blog post, that is where I see my brand now doubling its clicks and impressions year over year and getting tons of people to recognize us as an authority in the space. But there still is another layer. And I just want to add, before we go to layer 2 here, what I showed you in Claude may seem like a lot. I make tons of tutorials on my personal channel here about Claude skills, how Claude runs my business. I walk through all of that. And if you are interested, by the way, I do have a community where I not only talk about all of this in depth, but I give you all the prompts, all the skills, everything that you need inside our AI Leverage Lab community, but totally optional, totally understand if you just want to start with the YouTube videos. There's tons of great information there. Layer 2. And unfortunately, part of this, I'm just being transparent, is going to take 6 to 12 months, but it's more in your control than you think, which is these LLMs, when someone is searching best mattress or best tech sales training or best XYZ, Yes, they're going to use this SEO foundation to try and find credible articles. Who's getting mentioned, right? Is this article well structured? Can this article really convince me that it is an expert and has an original and authoritative take, right? But layer 2 is now it also goes, let me see if anyone's talking about this on Reddit. Let me check Amazon and see if there's any product reviews. Let me see if there's other popular sites, if you're in the space of digital courses or whatever it may be, like Trustpilot, that how many people have rated this positively or negatively. And they are using external proof, as I would argue 50% or even more of the criteria when recommending this. Our brand has been around now for 4+ years. We have a lot of people that have said great things about us on the tech sales subreddit specifically, and that helps us a lot. It might be easy in your situation to sit back and say, well, oh, okay, I don't have anyone that talks about me online. And this is my point. With your products now, with whatever it is you're building, you need to build the structure in your marketing or sales cycle to incentivize potential customers and future customers to talk about your product online. Maybe they've made a purchase with you before and you want to give them a 20% off a future purchase. Well, do that if they leave a positive review on a specific website, or do that if they go online and can send you a screenshot of leaving a positive comment about your product on Reddit, right? These are ways that over the course of 6 to 12 months, it may seem daunting if you have no presence online right now. That is going to take some time. There's no question about it, but build this into your process now. Build this into your customer acquisition strategy, and now have customers go out of their way to leave a review, to talk about you on Reddit, whatever it may be. And this is just one example of many, but I'm actually in Reddit right now, and you can actually see there are people with genuine questions about our brand. Is Higher Levels worth it? Best resources for becoming a top performing SDR. In this thread, someone mentioned Higher Levels, right? Any advice or resources on how to pass interviews? And so having this presence online is going to be a huge help. And also, again, having reviews as one example of many. This is something we're just starting. We are not currently on Trustpilot, which is a huge detriment to our ability. If you have a public ranking system like Amazon, or again, if you're in the digital info product space, you can search as one example. This is one of our competitors, Course Careers. They've done a great job of getting 422 reviews, and online, the LLMs see this at a glance. They dive into the reviews and they are actually citing specific things that are left here in these reviews. So I've tested this several different times. I'm like, hey, could you compare Course Careers to Higher Levels and all of these different things? And it's actually going on these forums, on Reddit, on Trustpilot, and it's finding what genuine people say. And it makes an overall recommendation, says, hey, you should go with Higher Levels, but here's the pros and cons of both. And I'm going to cite actual specific customer feedback on that. So you need to be thinking about this stuff like yesterday. Even if you're early on here, it's not realistic that within 2 months you're going to be recommended by AI. But first and foremost, have that domain expertise from the SEO perspective, and then build into your processes mechanisms to incentivize your customers to leave reviews, leave public comments, and beyond. I really want to emphasize this point the most. Think about it this way. If anyone, and what I just showed you, right, is, hey, that blog post, by the way, it just generated in Claude. So this took me literally 10 seconds of prompting this, and I have a fully fledged, extremely detailed blog post that I can rip and post automatically to my website. So if anyone can do that, what's your moat? And in my opinion, video content, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube, I think long form content, especially if you have really high end clientele, maybe you're selling consulting services or very expensive packages, I think long term, long form video paired with maybe a little bit of short form is the actual moat. Because now that you can embed your own YouTube videos into this, the AI sees that and thinks that you're much more credible. It's able to see that entire transcript and evaluate for itself if you're a really authoritative and original person, as opposed to, again, AI generated blogs. They're probably going to 50x over the next 5 years. So if you're embedded with video and we're seeing this as a result, I think that is a massive, massive moat that is not easily recreated and is very unique to you and helps you stand out in a sea of AI slop. Lastly, I just want to show you guys, we actually launched our blog last June, and you can see about 6 months in that our organic clicks and organic impressions almost doubled overnight. We're seeing the same in ChatGPT and Claude in terms of how many customers are coming to us saying that they found us through AI, but this is the challenge. There's no way to know 100% how to rank in ChatGPT in Claude. It's not as cut and dry as SEO, where previously it was like, okay, tech sales is being searched 100,000 times a month. Let me make a bunch of articles about tech sales, right? There's so many things that I could get into, but if nothing else, I like to lead with proof. I want to show you that I'm legit. I have no other agenda here, and I really hope that that gets you going in the right direction. I truly think the people who cross GEO, generative engine optimization, how do I show up in ChatGPT, are going to do two major things correctly over the next 5 years. One, they're going to lead with long form content that is original and authentic and highly credible. They're going to take that transcript, use that to then have AI create blog posts, create unique and detailed blog posts. And then on the other side of that, in their customer journey and their customer acquisition strategy, they're going to bake into, by default, incentive mechanisms to have people leave tons of reviews, tons of comments, talk about them on Reddit and beyond. If you guys want to follow up, please let me know. When it comes to how I use AI to do all of this, come up with video ideas, automatically publish these blogs onto my website. That is why I created AI Leverage Lab, completely optional. But if you want these things out of the box, literally copy paste, you can have all the Claude skills you want, everything needed to get going instead of figuring it out on your own. That's why I created that. And also, again, on my channel alone, tons of deep dives here, tons of great videos to walk you through how to use AI to do exactly this. So hope you guys got a lot out of it. If you do have any questions, please let me know. Again, just trying to be valuable here. No fancy edits. And if you need anything else, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.